Okay, y'all, I am back, and I hope y'all enjoyed those bangers like I did. And so today, for our Spotlight Artist segment, I am talking with my bro, which he is an artist. He's a DJ, but he's not just a DJ. He's a special DJ. You know, this guy, you know what I'm saying, like, he's an influencer. He does radio. He's a radio personality. So, for him to always interview people, it's always good to be interviewed. So, by that there being said, I got my bro DJ Waffles. What's good, man?
Man, slow motion is better than none, man. I feel blessed. I love the ambiance in here. It's very, very nice. I like it. I don't really get out there much, so I'm excited just about being here. So I'm feeling good today.
That's what I'm talking about. So, can you tell our listeners where you are originally from, and how did you first get involved in music, as well as what inspired you, or who inspired you to pursue it from a career standpoint?
All right, so I'm actually from Brooklyn, New York. Moved to so
BK to be exact.
Yeah, so came to Atlanta like around 2013. And I was managing an artist, so that's how I got into the music business. But nobody knows I was a rapper before then.
Oh, word?
Yeah, that was my past life.
Okay.
So I was a rapper. So, I started managing the artist, and then I just felt like as an artist, I knew what an artist needed. So that's why I feel like I'm good at being a DJ. I'm good at being an A&R. I'm good at picking music because I kind of know already what the world probably at least like 70% out of 100% needs to hear RC and stuff like that. So that's what drove me here. And then I got into radio. Deborah Anthony, that's Walker's mom or whatever. Everybody know I shouldn't have said that. But Deborah Anthony, she actually gave me the opportunity to be on a radio station. And, I engineered a lot of shows, like from like 8 in the morning to like 12 at night. I used to fall asleep in the studio and stuff like that. Just working, just learning how to engineer shows. And then the DJ just fell on my lap, and then I just took it, and it was a blessing ever since I picked up the trade.
Oh, dope. So that sounds like we have a lot in common. We both started off as artists, and now look, we're here now. So when did you first find out that you wanted to be a DJ, and who helped inspire that decision?
So crazy. It was a good friend of mine named Terrell. One night he was at my house. Matter of fact, it was New Year's, and he had flew down to Atlanta because he cuts hair, like celebrities' hairs and stuff like that. And we was in my house. We was in my house in the kitchen, and he was like, "Bro," he was like, "Man, you need to take this serious." He was like, "I'm telling you, man." And I had like a little turntable, like these wasn't. You know what the small little Serato boards look like. But I had like a small Newmark. That thing was like this big, and it was like a play school. It was like a play school turntable. And he was like, "Man, you got all the music, man." And I was playing the music for us in the house or whatever. And he was like, "Yo, you should just go for it." And then ever since that night, I just was like, it is what it is. I'm gonna just take it serious and just try to do it. And then it just spiraled from there.
Dope. Another thing in common. You got first introduced and inspired by this this person named Terrell, and now you have actually a friend named Terrell. I think, well, that's crazy. Okay. Okay. So, what made you come to Atlanta, and how has that decision panned out for you pertaining to your career choice?
Oh, like I said, I was in management helping an artist, and I just felt like that artist was gonna go at that point in time because it wasn't nothing like that at that point. And then once I got into music, it was just like, it was here. It was for me. Like I couldn't dodge it. Like it was like, music is gonna take me to where I need to go. And then once I started to learn it and I seen how everything operated, it kind of was like easy for me to kind of figure the paths out. A lot of this stuff was self-taught. DJing, how to network, who to be around, who not to be around, because it's a lot of stuff that you need to learn to be a part of the music industry. It's cool that you might have a rapper, you might do a couple of open mics inside your neighborhood and all that, but no, I was like, I got thrown right into the industry. I didn't come in low level. Like I've done stuff like that before. I've had my own open mics in Pennsylvania where I used to give away $500 cash, and it used to be crazy, but that changed so fast because I came here. You get what I'm saying? And then once I got here, it was just like, bro, you're in the industry. It ain't even, I'm sitting in meetings with Deborah Anthony, this person, in the scope, Vlad. I'm sitting with everybody immediately. So I had to learn to adjust to what it is that you're gonna be around on a day-to-day basis, and the expectations.
Dope. So I want to get a little bit more in your business. So did Waffles ever work a 9 to 5? And if so, what was your worst job experience?
Oh, yeah. You know what's so crazy? Yo, you know what's so crazy? I've worked 9 to 5s. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I had security jobs. I've worked at FAO Swartz in Manhattan before they shut it down. I worked at the Levi's store, and I worked at maybe like another retail store. And that was it. It was most of my jobs were like retail jobs. But the one that I probably say that I hated the worst was like doing security, bro. Like standing outside, like outside of stores, and then working in like clothing stores as security, bro. And you gotta watch people to see if they stealing and all that stuff like that. Like you wearing the big security jacket with the slacks and the boots and all that. I was like, I made a bad security guy, bro. Listen, it was, yo, you know what's so crazy? I'm gonna tell you the story. So one time, right, they put me stationed in like Coney Island in New York, right? So what happened was, I don't even work for them no more, so it doesn't matter. So anyway, I went to my family's house because they stationed me in their buildings. It was called Trump Village. Donald Trump owns these buildings, whatever. So every time when I used to go to work, I used to go to my family's house and go to sleep and just keep the walkie-talkie on loud just in case they called me. And I would go downstairs and just go check my doors or whatever.
You were top flight.
Yeah, definitely.
You were top flight security. I feel you.
Bless my little heart.
So, as we take a look at some fellow DJs, you know what I'm saying, who made a bigger name for themselves by partnering with successful artists or labels, are there any artists or labels out there that you have always wanted to partner with, and why?
Let me see. Label wise, I can't really say. If anybody would have needed the help of me and I could have helped them, I would do something like maybe like Travis Scott, like his camp.
I could have seen you when we did it with Bad Boy and them, Rockefeller. I could have seen you.
That definitely Rockefeller. That would be, or
Dipset. You know what I'm saying? The whole Rockefeller was a better fit. Yeah,
Rockefeller's better fit at this time. I would say Travis Scott. I would say TDE, because I just like the way that, like, LA's been giving me like a different vibe lately. Like it's just like cool fun. So I would want to be there more so than East Coast with the labels right now. If it's not like a Rockefeller, like you said, I don't see anything else. And then Deborah Andy's label, like Ms. ENT, because when I feel like when we had Cash Doll, I feel like that was like the spark and change for the culture, but it didn't happen. So, you know,
it's just like she has really uplift and gave a boost to a lot of artists. And 100%. Just let's just say if all them artists would have stayed, like
what?
I
don't think, you know what's like, crazy?
Woo.
That's scary. That's scary for a female in the industry to have that type of power. But she had it at one point, and people just didn't understand. So for a female to have that type of power right now, that would be so different for what's going on right now. Like, there are a lot of female rappers out there, and there's a lot of female entrepreneurs, and when it comes to business, but I don't really see a lot of female entrepreneur label owners that are making pushes like that. Like, that was different. Like OJ the Juice Man, Nicki Minaj, like Gucci, French Montana, you know what I'm saying? Like Waka,
Cash Doll too.
All the producers that they had, TM88, she had Southside, she had birthed all of them. So just imagine, like right now, all of those are millionaires. Like, they all millionaires. There's nobody that I just named right now that's probably not a millionaire. Just imagine what the boss would have made if I put y'all in position to do stuff like that. That's ridiculous if somebody would have been able to contain that type of energy in those artists at one point in time.
Legendary, I tell you. Legendary. Shouts out to Dale, man. Big shouts out to Dale. You know what I'm saying? Real talk.
Shout out.
So as a DJ, radio host, and music curator, what are your thoughts about? Now I'm gonna put you in the seat real quick.
Let's do it.
What are your thoughts about gospel rap, and do you see it ever solely becoming one with hip hop, with the hip hop music culture itself?
Let me see how I feel about gospel rap. Let's address that first because I go to church. I'm proud to say that I go to church, and I've been consistently for like the last about 4 or 5 weeks. I'm doing pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see nothing wrong with it. I just feel like the people and the way that they listen to music, it justifies how music is going to be put out. Like Dwight Stone, like I didn't get a chance to even hear his show, right? He's like one of the biggest APDs in Atlanta when it comes to gospel music. So it's like, I know that the music is there. I've listened to it before, but I don't got nothing against it. I even did something with your artist.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't knock it. I just feel like you just have to make the right music for the time for it to be played by people that's not playing secular music. You get what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta find what makes sense. You got Lil Baby and Kirk Franklin. Every time I leave church, that's the last song that they play. I don't know where it comes from. It just be like God from the heavens. We pay our tithes, we ready to go. And then the loudspeakers play that song for the last 4 Sundays that I left church. And they play it. So,
it's an inspiring song.
Right. So just imagine, it can be done.
And one of the reasons why I want to ask you that, and it's like, I'm glad you said Dwight Stones. That is a fellow brother of mine. We talk periodically. Mm-hmm. And he's actually told me himself, he was like, man, I don't know how to market that. So when you think of radio, you know what I'm saying, radio, you know what I'm saying, FM, you know, they're going to play what's more popular to where they think people are that's going to listen at any given time. So they're going to play the contemporary. They're going to play the quartets, the choirs, the praise and worship, because that's really the foundation of gospel. That's the foundation of it. And when you create a foundation for so many decades, they're going to play that. That's almost like you going home to your wife. Like, you be like, man, I don't need to be out of these streets. I know when I go home, I know my wife. I know she gonna cook. Right. We've been doing this for years. I know my wife. I love her. I know her. I'm coming home to what I know. And that's the way the gospel radio world, they go directly to what they know. So why I was asking you that was because if I look at gospel hip hop, let's just remove gospel and let's just say hip hop. That's how I look at it, because me understanding the old school of where hip hop come from, there was so many people of different beliefs and religion that came in hip hop with a form of an expression of how they saw the culture, how they saw the environment, how they saw their community, how they spoke on real things, but they believed, like, everybody in hip hop didn't have the same beliefs, but they came together in common ground with an understanding of change. Right. And then we all look like each other. So it ain't about, you know what I'm saying, what you believe. It's about, can we come together and agree on this, that we need change by any means. And I feel like when I look at gospel hip hop, and I just remove the gospel, and I just say hip hop, to me, that's still just as much conscious music as Goody Mob was, as, you know, Poor Righteous Teachers, as, you know what I'm saying, African Barbada, as KRS-One, as all the different people that brought messages into music. So why I asked you that was, I was like, there's actually music out here that actually bang and sounds very good, sounds really good. But it's just, I'm like, if this is coming from artists from the street, just like you, it's almost like you started going to church. So you don't want everybody in your crew to shut you off because you go to church. Right. You still want them, you know, to accept you, like you still the same person. You just make different life decisions because you got people that depend on you. I agree with you 100%. So if don't nobody respect that, then they really ain't your friend. I agree with you. So that's why I asked you, I said, how do you feel? Because it's, to me, it's more of a more positive reflection that is entering into the culture of hip hop. And I feel like I hear a lot of, you know, older, you know, seasoned heads in hip hop saying, man, we need better stuff than that. But I'm like, oh, what, you gonna pick and choose what better is? You know what I'm saying? You talking about this person killing and you talking about this person up living a life. Oh, but you don't want that, but you want something else. No, you have to take.
That's deep.
If you saying what you want and then it's coming to you, you can't be picky about it if it's positive.
That's deep. That's deep. I give it. I
told you I'm gonna put you in the hot tub.
Yeah, I definitely can. I definitely can attest to that. I've seen it a lot. Like you said, you got a lot of people that make good music on that side, and like you said, these people are applauding like the songs with the shooting, the killing, the robbing. But I just feel like a lot of people applaud it because it's like it's a lot of stuff like that they've probably been through. Like those stories, they're more relatable to the things that's actually happening in their communities and the people that they've seen do it and the things that they're around. So that's why I feel like a lot of people even grasp to the music. And then one thing they say is like the beats will them in as well. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. There's nothing wrong with, you know, with gospel music and gospel rap, and they were actually doing songs like that with these same beats and stuff like that. But it's just something about the material. Some people are more for that material than anything else. I don't knock it at all. But I just know that there's going to be two types of people that's going to listen. People that's not for it and people that are for it.
So to me, that's like them silicone soundtrack to me, because it's almost like the secular end of the rap end. Right. They have happen to be lying. But it's like the line just entertain people. You know what I'm saying? Happen to be lying. Then we got somebody telling people, I don't want to hear the truth. I don't want to hear the truth. I want to be fascinated. I just want to be entertained.
Because
the lie sounds better. That truth is cool. I feel it. It's straight. But the way he put that lie, the way he put that lie with this beat and that hook, man, it got me lit, boy.
So, all right. So let me ask you this. So how do you get people as listeners to cross over and feel like this is what they want to listen to?
Well, and it's like it goes back to what you were saying earlier. Like we have to become them A&Rs. Like that's like me. Like I have brought more like kingdom music in front of people's, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause I'm always in the industry. I'm in the secular. I'm not in the gospel realm. When I go to the gospel realm, I'm going to church.
Right.
So I'm not in the music realm. When I say gospel, that's church. I get my word. But I bring the kingdom outside and I put it in the marketplace, because that's basically where it got to be at. You know what I'm saying? If you talking about you want to make it, you have to understand the marketplace. So it's all about knowing the right records to introduce the moves, because we're DJs too. So knowing the mood of the person and knowing what's going to filter in, you know.
So let me ask you this. Do you feel like the artists that you're actually pushing, do they know what it takes to enter into like the BDS stations, like the Hot 107.9s, the Streets 94.5s? Do they have it? Do they have what Lecrae has? Do they have what those guys have?
This many. Like
right. So where all right. So where
very small, but it's like this, like. You know the budget is different, and which goes back to this, if you want to be honest with it, like hip hop, the most successful people, hip hop was established off street money,
right?
But I'm saying when you get saved, you doing positive stuff. It ain't even no street around you,
right?
So you ain't taking no game member, no drug dealer money to help start your career. So you got to work a 9 to 5, bro, to make it. Like you have to work overtime.
But this is the.
I'm just being real.
I just feel like it's still blessings in what you do as an artist, because you can still make that same money the way that these drug dealers are making it. To me, and the reason why I say that, because I feel like
what job? What job for a black man right now without a college degree that you own besides a good hours of Uber, and you know?
Listen. You have to.
You gonna be driving 24/7. You ain't gonna get no sleep. You gonna be Uber 24 hours a day.
Listen, just the same way that the pastor takes offerings on Sunday is the same way that you could create stuff that will make the churches support you as well.
But
this is something positive.
But this is the key thing.
And you raise money.
But all right, this is the key thing though. I hear what you're saying. But from a spiritual narrative, God ain't for sale. Because listen to what I'm saying. So artists have to really know that. That's almost like
this is charity.
Christian dude who put tents on cars.
Wait a minute, but this is charity.
You ain't finna pimp the church to get more customers to put tents on cars. You gotta go out there and market.
The artist is not gonna do that. You just, like you say at times, you just sowing a seed. If you sowing a seed in this person that's a part of this church to help them, what's the problem? It's the same thing that we do for the pastor every Sunday. So do it for the artist to help them grow as well.
The difference,
and they can make the same money just like a hustler was making. The difference
about what you're saying is you're comparing people who go into church and get saved. When they're in the church, they start working for the church. They start getting in the computer. They're conforming into the church building structure. Those are the people that the average church are more comfortable to sow into. These are people that's coming from places where you live and saying, I want to have a better life. So all they know at the moment, some churches don't even know how to understand them of people. We understand them more than the churches do because we come from that.
I done been in some churches where they would actually book artists from other places, other churches, to actually come to the church to perform. And then even if the pastor didn't give them something, they actually took like a tithe for them as well. Like, what is you going to do for this artist?
All right. So what you're saying, before I actually became a, DJ for the kingdom,
right?
Like I was a secular artist, but then I also was a gospel artist.
Okay.
So for 3 years in this city, before I created Coalition Kingdom, I was an artist.
Right.
So in this city, so I've experienced going from church, not having a church not wanting to pay you, church trying to fool you, church trying to put God in a way like, baby, you should have did for the love. You know what I'm saying? I've been through that. So it's great that you've seen two or three churches out of all the churches but then they have their circuit. They have certain artists, particular artists, and I see this now, where churches will recommend like 2 or 3 artists to go to every other church because they're cool in the circle. But you have tons of artists out there that can't even get in that circle because everybody is so cliquish. So that's what it comes back to. If an artist is doing hip hop and it's positive, why can't a hip hop established entity embrace that if it sound good and if it's promising just as much as you embrace something?
So they probably not see this is the thing. I just feel like the labels that the artist is probably going to, it's not the fit.
It's not labels.
Right. So where
the community, like, all right, okay.
If you bring like say for instance, you bring your artist to me. I love the music. I did the intro for the music. We did a whole video. We did an interview and all that stuff like that. You're not taking it to the right people. There are people that can't.
So
some music
you're
is
telling
undeniable.
Me, so you're telling me you're not one of the gatekeepers for indie artists.
I would definitely say that I'm one. I feel like people come to me. Yes, I am a gatekeeper.
So as an indie artist,
right.
I went to the right person.
Right.
Now, you're not the only person I need to go to, but I went to the right person.
Right. And that's the thing. That's the thing. You gotta find those right people. They're out there, but it's very, very scarce. It's very, very scarce, bro.
I just wanted
there though. They are.
I just wanted to ask that question only because it's a lot of artists out here that like they go to the open mics or they go out into and they make their efforts.
Right.
And some of them, be a little frustrated, and then I try to tell them too. I'd be like, well, majority of the time now in this city, if you go to Waffles or you go to anybody else, or you go to a DJ Calvin, or you go to like a Montel, you go to Coalition or whatever like that, the average person gonna tell you when they be like, you're dope. And then the next thing they're gonna ask you, do you know Mr. CSA2K? Because he actually does that. And it's like, I consider myself one of the gatekeepers too, but I'm like, as a collective, I'm like, I do see avenues in everybody's backyards that I'm cool with, that I'm like, you don't even have to work it. You can either it's like your backyard. If I knock on your backyard gate, you might not be in the backyard right now. You might be in and out.
Right.
But if you trust me enough to be in your backyard, I might look at you and be like, yo, dude, you can just unlock the gate. I'll come back there and do everything that need to get done in your backyard. So maybe right then you don't know how, or you're not looking at it, but I can show you in your backyard what can be done.
See, that's the problem. That's the problem right there. That is the problem right there. You're trying to search for everybody else's backyard when you could just create your own.
But you get what I'm saying? I have a backyard,
right?
But to make this grow,
you don't need everybody.
Right,
You don't need everybody else. You need to build your backyard, and they will come.
So you're telling me, record labels,
right? You can get
now.
them.
No. I'm saying this. What I'm saying. No. I'm saying. So you're telling me, what make record labels successful is that they're able to come out of their backyard and go into other people's backyards,
right?
So, if a record label is just like a radio station and a DJ, a middleman, that's basically what they are.
Right.
So, if a more successful middleman is able to come out of their backyard and go in the backyard of people to keep and make the artists or the people, the collective individuals that they have prosper. So, what you just said is that I'm creating my own backyard.
Right.
So I'm like, now I'm to the point. So my thing is this. I don't just leave out my backyard and go to somebody's backyard and say, okay, let's work. No, I go into somebody's backyard and I actually see and I look and be like, okay, his grass need cutting. He may need some fixing.
Right.
So I'm going to go back there and work.
And see, that's the problem. Once again, it's like you're explaining stuff and you have to listen to yourself. You're saying if you created a backyard, right? And you're going and you're looking at what they're doing and what needs to be done. If you create your backyard and you fertilize your stuff and you build yours, everybody's going to come because they're going to need something from you. You got to stop thinking that you need them. And not to say that it is, but you got to stop saying that you need them when if you build it, they will come. It might take a little bit longer. But if you build a structure, it's just like me. I don't want to go hang out with all the cool kids and do all the cool stuff all the time. I want to build my own, and then the cool kids gonna come hang out with me. Okay. And that's what you can. And that's what you can do.
So on that note, I'm gonna hold you accountable. Everything you're saying, just like you hold me accountable, because I feel we need. Can't you
see this in my brand? Don't you see this in my brand?
Yes.
Like, I don't want to play with all the cool kids. I want to build it, and then the cool kids can come hang out with me. I don't feel like I need them to build my backyard.
No, this is what I'm saying. There's a different, like, from me working in the secular end from a DJ and from me being on this end, there is a difference. Meaning, you can build a backyard. Your backyard is similar to everything else. So if it looks familiar and it looks nice, it's almost like a plaza. One plaza with similar stores. If you got the right sale, the right mannequin, the right clothes in the glass, somebody's walking in the plaza like, oh, let me go in here and let me go in here. But if you have this bodega that's just sitting, it's in the plaza, but it's just sitting, it's different. That's
the store that I want to shop from. But I want to go to everything that's totally opposite from everybody.
That sounds so inspirational in expression.
It's supposed to.
But in the actual act, it's different. The act is different, bro.
I'm telling you, it's supposed to. You got to understand that you have your own niche. You have your own market. Nobody in the city of Atlanta is doing anything that you're doing. Nobody. No DJ. You're the only DJ that's supporting these artists like this. How is it impossible for you to make enough noise that everybody come deal with you? It's like that. I would be grateful for that nobody wants to do podcasting. Nobody wants to do music reviews. Nobody wants to do concerts. The only thing that kind of really set myself apart is Waffles Weekend. 6 events, 4 days. No DJ has ever done it in the city. That's my own backyard. That's what I do. You got these artists out here, and you got the gospel. You got the secular. That's new. Nobody's touching that. It's untapped market. You got the best seat in the building.
So I'm finna actually say this on the record and on this station. I'm going to continuously create my backyard. But if I throw a barbecue and if I know you and if you're not doing it,
they don't.
This is what I'm saying.
Listen, once again,
if I'm not, this is what I'm saying.
Listen, let me tell
I'm
you
not going to make you come. That's what I'm saying. I'm a advertise that there's. But what's the use of?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They don't matter. The people of your culture and the people of your niche, those are the people that matter. Everybody else, if they don't want to come to the party, they don't got to come to the party. I did Waffles Weekend. I just did it on Instagram. I didn't send out email invites and all that. I just said, whoever's going to see it, they're going to come, and every event was packed out. That's what it is. If you want to come to my backyard, you come. I'm not forcing you to come and deal with me because I already got all these people that should be able to bring their supporters. All these dope artists that you have, all these dope DJs that follow what you do, they should be able to bring the people for you. And you build from off of that.
Okay, so y'all hear that I've been educated.
Yeah, you got
today.
the backyard. You talking
by
about
DJ Waffles. He didn't back down, and he did not throw in the towel. He just kept reiterating until I'm just looking like, all right, I'm gonna wave my white flag, and I'm gonna be like, you won this one. I can't argue with the truth. You won this one, my brother. You won this one. I can now argue with the truth. You definitely won this one.
I just feel like, man, like, as I watch you grow and I see what you're doing, I'm like, bro, this is solely untapped market. Like, this is what you're doing, and you're doing it from the heart. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is, if we want to use those terms, like, this is God's work, bro. Like, you're the coalition DJ, the Kingdom Coalition. Like, this is the type of music that you promote. How is anybody else doing what you're doing? It's some of the biggest gospel DJs out there. The APD of, like, one of the biggest DJs on Twitch. Like, they're here in Atlanta. You got to secure your market. Not everybody else's. Forget everybody else that's
know how to market. They've said it.
Listen,
they don't know how to market.
That's why it's for you to figure it out. It's your market. It's not theirs. It's yours. Nobody else is doing this. Who's doing what you're doing right now in 1,000 miles of Atlanta, Georgia right now? Nobody. So why wouldn't it be my own playground? I could build what I want to do. I wouldn't even take my artists to these different showcases anyway, because it's like the cross. I don't really want to hear what they're saying. If I'm a secular artist and I'm a hip hop artist, I really don't want to hear that. They don't really want to hear that. So I'm gonna build my own platform so that if y'all wanna hear some cool music and some positive stuff, y'all come over here. That's it. I'm not looking for everybody to be my friend. That's not. I'm not in the business of that. That doesn't pay bills. It's just the people who are gonna support the people that come and hang out in my backyard. That's it.
That's what I'm talking about. Now you've heard it first from the infamous DJ Waffles. Okay, real quick. All right, so for you actually, dropping all these jewels and everything, how can artists that haven't tapped in with you yet, how can they tap in with you from your social media to your websites to just how can they find Waffles?
They can go to www.imdjwaffles.com or, my magazine, firstmixmagazine.com, or hit me up on social media, or my last email is teampattyroom@gmail.com. And that's it right there.
So before we go to this music break, if there's anything that you can say to an indie artist right now, what type of advice would you give to them?
Build it and they'll come. Just be consistent.
And you've heard it from the book of Moses.
I'm just here to deliver the word. That's what I came here for. I just came to deliver the word.
With a splash of Noah, you know what I'm saying?
I just came to get a word, man.
But my brother, it's always a blessing to have these conversations with you. It's always a blessing to just have you, you know what I'm saying, like in the same environment space as myself. It's just always a blessing to talk to you, brother. So but see, this is what you call like real, genuine, cool people, because a person can really set the record on air, and just folks don't be getting in their feelings. When you hear truth, you have to embrace it and you have to accept it, because now you can't just always move off of just your narrative or false narrative or unsure narrative. Like, great minds, you know what I'm saying, like iron sharpens iron. So, you know what I'm saying, I appreciate you coming through,
Definitely.
brother. I appreciate, you know what I'm saying, you taking out your time and your busy schedule that you really could have been doing something else right now. But you actually sitting here with me. So on that note right there, man, hey, y'all, we finna go into this music break.